Welcome to the AM briefing video presented by microstrader.com, where together we trade better. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is the AM briefing number 377. This week's scripture is Micah 6:8. Mankind, he has told you what is good and what it is the Lord requires of you, to act justly, to love faithfulness, and to walk humbly with your God. You know, when I saw that Micah was going to be the scripture this week, I said to myself, I don't know one scripture from Micah. So this will be this week's scripture. Tip of the day, do you have a trade plan? Do you have one? You know, if you're a member of my group, you've got that free template that you can incorporate with a free Airtable account that gives you a trade tracker and trade journal. Super easy to implement. It's part of your membership and it's yours forever, actually. Okay? It's yours forever. By the way, I want to do a little mental game here with your mind. And that says, by the way, you always have a position on. You don't have to be looking for an entry always and needing to be in an entry. Why? Because you are in a position. Cash is indeed a conscious decision. It is a position. Just because you're not in a long or not in a short doesn't mean you're not in a position. You are in a position. You have decided cash is the best position for me to be in today. So release the need to always be in a position. You are in a position. Cash is a conscious capital preservation position. Guys, if you like what we do here, like, subscribe, consider becoming a member. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I go live. This week's news drivers. Tuesday, JOLTS job. Wednesday, it's back in town, baby. CPI. And then, of course, Thursday's the day after CPI plus PPI, which by default, what does that make Tuesday? Tuesday is JOLTS job report plus the day before CPI. And then Friday, we're going to round out with sentiment and inflation expectations. I believe Monday and Tuesday are definitely trade days. Friday's trade day. Level 10 starts there Wednesday, Thursday. We will be live for the CPI candle, and most likely we'll be live for the PPI candle as well. Hit that notification bell and you'll be alerted to when I go live, which is typically 15 minutes before the news driver. Now, these times are Central Time Zone because that's where I live. So that will vary based upon where you live. But the JOLTS is 30 minutes after the market opens. CPI is 1 hour before the market opens. PPI is 1 hour before the market opens. Then 30 minutes after the market opens is consumer sentiment. All right. So here's a little snapshot of earnings. Nothing that I saw that was big and market moving, but I wanted to share it with you as well. There's a screenshot from Earnings Whisper. If you'd like to have your own screenshot of this, screenshot this page, or go to the Earnings Whisper Twitter page. All right. So last night we did a Sunday night marking of our level. So I thought we'd do something a little different here going into today. So what I did is I went to the weekly chart and right here, weekly. Oh, you can't see that. I am on the weekly chart and did a volume profile from the COVID low. And so I wanted to show you where's from the COVID low, this is the value area high. From the COVID low, this is the value area low. And this is POC. So let's go ahead and COVID low POC. Okay. Might be 3 interesting levels to put on our chart because the first level is the value area high. And that value area high relates very much to a previous all-time high. Now, before we talk about that, we also threw on a anchored VWAP going through here, and the anchored VWAP pretty much crosses pretty well with POC. And why that's important to me, in my humble opinion, pretend this is a 3-minute chart. Forget this as a weekly chart. What do you see here? Well, I see a previous all-time high, a big old backside, right? Test it twice. If price comes back to here for a third test. What's the odds that it bounces and goes make new highs versus it goes through to go back to POC? Just a very interesting thought to think about. This is, yeah, we've had a down move here, but this is nothing. Look at this chart. This is really nothing. It's nothing to get that like terribly, oh my gosh. Let's kind of come up here near the high. Let's just pull this down to the low there. It's only 8%. I believe NQ's 10%. So I thought it was interesting to mark out the value area high, low, and POC. And I made a folder for these levels so I can turn these on and off as I want. I named the folder COVID, and this is in the object tree. When you're in our group, you are going to be constantly encouraged to have a clean, organized object tree. And so I like to share from time to time how I have mine organized. And then I just retitled each of those lines value area high, POC, value area low, and the COVID low. And I know that's the symbol for the anchored VWAP. So that's how that looks in my object tree, because that way I can go over and say, thank you. I don't need you anymore. I just want you on there for reference from time to time. Don't need this on there either because I already have the levels. So that previous all-time high is a double tested backside, right? So that might be a good level to have on our chart as well. How close does that match to the value area high? You actually get to the value area high before the previous all-time high. So I'm actually going to drop this previous all-time high, I think, down into my COVID folder so that all those levels are in one place. They're their own, and now they're off. Let's drill down in time frames here. What are we seeing here? Series of lower highs and lower lows. Here's the trend lines that we did talk about last night, and we are still in this cycle here. Nothing has changed. When do things change? Well, I talked about that pretty well in last night's video. If you wanted to go check that out. So last night I also drew up. I want to do one more thing. Sorry. Let me go to 30-minute chart. Zoom out. There's the expected range. Pretty big expected range, isn't it? Pretty big expected range. So we'll see how that works out. And then last night I drew for you a couple trades I was interested in. The first one was that we bounced off this, got back above the halfback. That might be of interest to me, showing me that the bulls could bounce off a high time frame level, get back over the halfback and go. But look at that. It got rejected off the halfback twice. Rejected off the halfback twice. So that is really, really interesting, is it not? I'm going to throw in our schedule here. So we will be live in our group 30 minutes before the market opens for our mental training. And actually, can I update one thing here? So I need to update that. There we go. But rejected twice off the back test of the halfback. What did everybody else do? Let's go take a peek at everybody else. Of course, these are on 30-minute time frames, so you don't really get to see the double rejection, but we're all in the lower distribution. Now, that's not bearish, but also it's not that bullish, is it? So we had this new week opening gap that we drew out last night. Once again, if you didn't watch that video to update the levels last night, I encourage it. Didn't make it back there. So the bears are not scared is the one thing I would say, but they also are not creating any new lower lows right now. And so extreme caution. So when I look at yesterday and I was to throw on this, we are now entering into the green zone where it's probably a little smarter to be looking for a long, but I would want to look for a long after it grabbed the low of the liquidity, the liquidity at the RTH low. We will map out our trades live after the mental training. Let's do something we haven't done in a while. Let's do the bull bear. So, oops, I got to slide over one slide and bring that up. So overnight trend line, if we had to draw a trend line in the overnight session, it's pretty obvious that there's only one. It's this. And then you might even say, have we went a bit parabolic? So the winner of this would definitely go to the Bulls. So no, Bears. What am I talking about? Session stacking, Bears, VWAP. Let's turn on the essentials. VWAP. Well, it certainly looks like we are under our VWAP. Let's go compare that with everybody else. Everybody else is under their VWAP. So who wins this? Well, it's going to be the Bears. Overnight halfback. Well, I think it's pretty obvious. The Bears are winning. Yesterday's range, we are in the lower distribution after a monster 114-point rally. We've almost looked like we're going to take this thing back. I'm going to edge that out to the Bears. The indices, I'm going to give that to the Bears, but it could be 50-50 because we're still opening within range. So it's kind of, but the truth is, Bears control. So I'm going to give the edge to the Bears. The Bull Bear line, I think I'm going to give that at the halfback of yesterday for the reasons I explained of the entry that I was interested in yesterday. So I'm going to give that to the Bears. Their risk of a short covering or risk of a liquidation break. Well, I'm going to edge that out to the Bulls, but resounding Bears completely control. And remember, great Bulls know where the Bears are, and great Bears know where the Bulls are. If you're looking for an MES Futures trading group, check us out at microstrader.com.
Stay green, my friends, and to learn more about our group, go to microstrader.com.